All right. Oh, alrighty. And looks like my microphone's working. It's a miracle. You are looking live. It's sold out at Life Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. And why are the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. They lost the Super Bowl because they suck. Philadelphia sucks. The Eagles suck. Rolls right off the tongue there, folks. Philadelphia sucks. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all this evening is going to spend a little bit of time with me, thank you. Or if anybody spends any time watching a replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away. Throw in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box, like, every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So, as soon as I see something in, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. Plus, instead of me just like rambling on for half an hour or so, or whatever, it's nice just to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free, fire away. Before we get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. What's up there, Jersey guys? I was watching it. You got 2 before. Yeah, 2. Wow. Jeez. One with Donovan. Oh, man. Really? Jeez. You figure they put a Giant in there. Maybe Eli Manning or something. Donovan McNabb. Come on. Jeez. What a bummer. Anybody wants to help support my channel out, in the description box below, top link in the description box, it takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second membership level I got is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel, I thank you in advance, and it would mean the world to me. So thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. And then finally, also in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a group, and I'll say this in every video. Basically, my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, and my Facebook page, which I'll go over in just a minute, it's all called the same thing. It dumbs it down for a moron like me. That way, I don't have to think, what's the name of my YouTube? Is the group called the same thing as the page? It's all called the same thing. I dumb it down for myself. All right, so the group, the New York Giants, the Gridiron, what do we got? Well, over 4,200 members, right? It's growing slowly, but it's doing really well. It'll probably start taking off a little bit once the season starts ramping up and everything. But we're over 4,200 members. And usually after I get done going live, I'll spend probably the next couple hours putting stuff in there. Now, what are we at? We're at, tomorrow will be 45 days away. So what I'll be doing is I'll be putting like pictures in like the page and the group, like of Emlyn Tunnell, right? Because we're 45 starting tomorrow. So in about like an hour or so, we'll be 45 days away, if my calculations are correct, from the Giants versus the Cowboys. So I'll be putting pictures of Emlyn Tunnell, number 45, in the group and in the page, plus also Homer Jones in the group and in the page. Plus I got some other guys who are wearing number 45. So I'll be sharing those pictures. So I'll spend the next couple hours putting stuff in the group and in the page. And I try to put like up to about 10 different things every day, in the group and in the page. I said, whether it's just a picture, something just showing some stats on a ball player, whether I'm sharing an article, it's a video, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites. I try to get up to about 10 different things every day, 7 days a week. As long as I got internet access and I'm not dead, I put stuff in there every day. And also, if you become a member of the group, not only do I post stuff in there, but the members post stuff in there as well, too. Right. So, I mean, 7 days a week, every day, there's a ton of stuff going in there. And then the second Facebook link, takes you to my page, my Facebook page called the New York Giants, the Gridiron, but it's a page. So I'm the administrator. I'm the only one who posts anything in there. But what are we at? Well, oh, cool. All right, I think we were 2,300 likes yesterday. We're up to 2,400 likes now, and we're over 7,100 people following the page. It's really doing simply marvelous, might I add. But it's the same thing. I'll spend the next, after I get done going live between the group and the page here, I put like, I try to get like 10 different things, and it's let me tell you what, with Saquon Barkley signing yesterday, what was it? Andrew Thomas is, I'm going to go over that today. It's training camp today with pictures and videos and stuff like that. It's easy getting 10 things in the group and in the page every day, so, but I try to keep them separate. So for the most part, I don't commingle them. So basically the pictures and videos and stuff that I put in the page, I don't put in the group. And whatever I put in the group, I don't put in the page. I said, unless it's something really making fun of the Eagles, and I just might want to share that with everybody. But other than that, I try to keep the stuff separate. So if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it, and you go to the group and you become a member 7 days a week, really, every day of the year, almost every day of the year, you get a ton of New York Giants information. And then, like I say, some people did not satisfied. So if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it, and you go to the group and you become a member, if you're not 100% satisfied, right, you get your money back guaranteed. All right, all that stuff said and done. Okay. Check out Facebook. Never had a page. Yeah. I had I started the group, and then I don't know, it was like about 6 months after I had the group, I just started a page too. The nice thing about the page is that anybody that goes to like and it really works out well. I think this is why the page is really going well with for the Giants. My page is because if somebody likes a video or something like that, or they put the making fun of the Eagles and they put the laughing emoji or whatever like that, so you can I can click on that stuff and I can invite those people to like or follow the page. Can't do that with a group. All I can do is like add friends or something like so. But it's so much easier to invite people to like the page. So, I mean, the page is really going rather well. So I've only had the page for maybe like a year or so. So I'm up to like 7,000. But I mean, I'm kind of figuring by the end of this football season, I'll be well over 10,000 people following the page. It's really, really doing good. And it's so much fun. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun just sharing that stuff. I mean, you got to put the time in, but it's if you really enjoy what you're doing, like what I'm doing here, it's you're not working at all, But man, I'll tell you what, I woke up this morning and checking the group and all. I think ESPN. I had an update from ESPN and all that about it. Good old Andrew Thomas signing. So man, I wasn't sure if that was going to happen or not. But I'll tell you what, boy. I mean, can't say we locked up Saquon, obviously, but at least we got him for this season. All right. So at least he's a happy camper, hopefully for the most part this season. He's at training camp. He's got his money. We got him, we got everybody's there on offense. I mean, obviously, of course, Wandale and Sterling, they're starting on pup and all that, but the offensive line's there, Daniel Jones there. We got Waller. We got a bunch of receivers. We got a bunch of running backs too. We got a lot of good quality depth at a lot of positions and all that. So Saquon's there. And then, of course, we see Andrew Thomas. God bless him. Way to go, brother. So happy for him, man. So happy for him. And, this is what you like to say. They didn't draft him, but the Giants drafted him, right? Quality, absolutely quality. I mean, so happy for him, so happy for the Giants, so happy for us fans. We got a good left tackle, and we locked him up. We got him up for 7 more years. Because let's see, this year he's playing on his final season, right, of his rookie deal, which is what, 11? My bad, I'm stupid. 10.29 looks like. And then we picked up the 5th-year option. So that's 14, right? So then, and there's an additional 5 on top of that. So he's locked up till 2029. So we got him for 2023 and 2024, but then the other 5 years is 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So we got that stud locked up for 7 more years. So So I mean, my spider senses are telling me correctly. That would be 10 years we would have him, and obviously that doesn't mean his career would be over. Let's hope he still has some more years left home. But you can also look at too is that, let's see, because I'm going to assume Evan Neal's going to work out just fine. Because I think he's a pro's pro. He's going to work. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-pro Hall of Fame or nothing like that, but he seems like he's going to work on his craft until he gets himself, really good. So if we want to sign in him now, so this is the second season, right? Be the third, fourth, pick up the fifth, because he's a first rounder. We could pick up the 5th-year option, right? So see, what was that? 23, 24, 25, 26 would be the 5th-year option. So we wind up extending him. I mean, so we extend him like starting in 27. I mean, man, he might get, I don't know. I mean, if he's, we'll have to obviously wait and see how well he gets. But if he starts getting into that Andrew Thomas range, I mean, in another 4 or 5 years, what the tackle might be getting back then. I mean, between the two tackles, they could be getting like almost $50 million between the two of them in a season. I mean, wow. I mean, if I'm just saying, if the going rate, that's all. Obviously for tackle is going to go up, right? So if you figure between, it's going to be Gelman didn't. No, I mean, it's I did a couple videos, and I don't know when it was. It was a while ago, a little while ago. I mean, a couple of things about, I think one of it was we owe Dave Gettleman a small debt of gratitude. And I know I had a couple negative Nancy's comment on that. He said, I can't stand that guy or whatever like that. But, I mean, with Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, say what you want. I still would have taken, somebody else. But, I mean, say with Saquon Barkley, we still got him, right? I mean, you can start looking at some of the guys we still have, nice, decent amount of guys that we got, right? I mean, Xavier McKinney, right? Azeez Ojulari. I mean, we've got some guys, right? There's a Daniel Jones, Andrew Thomas. I mean, Andrew Thomas looked like a laughing stock on that, or that running back that reasons stuff. Oh, Bobby Humphrey. Oh, there you go. Yeah, his mouthpiece went flying. The snowflakes coming down. Yeah, pretty cool. But I mean, Gettleman made a bunch of boo boos. Yes, he did. But he got us a few good pieces, and obviously one of them's Andrew Thomas, and the other one is obviously Saquon. But there's a few other ones. But I mean, hopefully we might have our quarterback, which I'll go over in obviously in a couple minutes here with Daniel Jones, as far as like with the training camp and everything, because apparently he was looking pretty sharp. But Andrew Thomas, 5 years, $117 million. Woo. Let's see. So the team officially announced that Thomas signed a multi-year extension Wednesday. Thomas agent John Thornton told ESPN's Adam Schefter, I don't know why. No idea why. I mean, something goes on. Oh, let me call up Adam Schefter and let me tell him. Why am I telling Adam Schefter anything? Why? Who do I give a rat's rear end if Adam Schefter knows what's going on? Why? What is it, a law? Will I be locked up for 300 years and they'll kill my family and everything if I do something in the NFL and I don't immediately pick the phone up and call Adam Schefter? Are you kidding me? I mean, why am I talking to that guy? Why? I don't know. But so the deal is worth $117.5 million over 5 years. Includes an offense, the record, cool, which is good. $67 million fully guaranteed. Good for him. Way to go, brother. The Giants already had Thomas under contract through the 2024 season after picking up the 5th-year option, right? So I mean, we got him this year for the 10. Then we got him next year for 14. I mean, so basically between this year and next year, we got him for 24. Well, basically that's what he's making the next 5 years every year. So, we got him this year and next year. We got the man on a bargain, big time bargain. Let's see here. Says Thomas said, yeah, you want to play well. Thomas told Athletics Dan Dugan in November about his first year struggles. You don't want to put bad tape on film. It's not a good feeling. Let's see here. Thomas got significantly better in his second season. He was ranked as the 80th best player in the NFL during the 2021 campaign by Pro Football Focus. Sam Monson, after allowing just 18 pressures in 517 pass blocking snaps. 2022 season was a revelation for Thomas. He finished 10th among all offensive tackles in ESPN's pass block win rate at 93%. Let's see. He's one of only 3 tackles with 80-plus pass blocking and run blocking grades the past season. So, one of 3. In a survey conducted by ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, Thomas came in as the 7th best offensive tackle in the league. Well, it is what it is. But his $23.5 million annual salary ranks second among all left tackles. Laramie Tunsil of the Houston Texans is the only player. He's got $25 million per season. But his $117 million in total value is only behind San Francisco's the stud, Trent Williams, who had a $138 million deal. Whew. So very, very impressive. But I mean, of course, it's his $67 million guaranteed is a record. So that's good. So we know we got him locked up for another 7 years. So that's absolutely fantastic. I mean, that's, as I said, we're starting to, get some guys locked up, which is good. The old line projects to be very, oh yeah. I mean, if, we'll have to see how much of, I don't know, you want to call it learning curve, whatever you want to call it, Michael Schmitz is under, I mean, I certainly don't expect him to get overwhelmed. But then again, is he going to be, I mean, I'm sure, once again, we're taking smart, tough, and dependable, right? But I mean, so if any weaknesses he has this season, he's going to be working on his craft. He's going to want to be the best person, best teammate, best player he can possibly be. So he'll work on it. So I just have to be interested to see. But the nice thing about it is, may not be every snap, but a lot of snaps he's going to have, especially when they're allowed to have contact, is going to be going to the sexy one. So, you're snapping the ball and the sexy one's 6 inches from your face, right? And, as soon as you snap that ball, the sexy one's going to be put one upside your head. That's, I mean, that might hurt a little bit. But I tell you what, you can't ask for a better person to go up against and just, battling it out. I like him better than Tippmann. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, especially, I mean, as far as like over just the overall center position. I mean, I really think we had a home run there. I mean, and once again, you're not asking for Hall of Famers. You're not asking, but also the thing is that the one thing I hated, what we got, is that it's like a revolving door. We got Feliciano, then maybe have Nick Gates in there, and then we got this guy in there, and then we have Billy Price when, we had Gates in there, right? Lemieux got hurt. Shocking, I know. Hard to believe, right? So Gates slides over to left guard. Billy Price goes in there, right? Then the second game or the third game of the season, Gates goes back on roller skates falls over, breaks his leg, right? I mean, we had Gates in there, Feliciano in there, Price. I mean, you could just go on and on. Yeah, it's like, are we ever going to have a center? The same, then we had Jalapeno in there. I mean, he got hurt. Are we ever going to have the same center in there? Like maybe, I don't know, 2 years in a row? Is that asking too much? I mean, it's like, how many years we got to go with? I mean, a revolving door. Is it asking too much to draft a center? Is that so? Well, that's it. Was McKeithen is starting on PUP. So hopefully he should be back soon. I mean, because he got injured it was just about a year ago. So you're kind of hoping he should be back soon. If you figure what do we got? Like, it's about 45. We got like 6.5 weeks or so until regular season starts. Kind of hoping maybe he might be back by then. But I mean, what are we gonna do with Glowinski? At times last year, he got overmatched. I seen quite a few times he was on roller skates, getting backpedaled into Daniel Jones. So is this going to be his last season? If it is, who are we gonna who's gonna take his place? Because you like to see Azudu in there because you're drafting him in the third round. You really expect to have the guy, become a starter. But once again, we don't know. He had very limited, not a lot of snaps. Bredesen's okay, but is he a long-term solution? You don't know. He's relatively young, but then it's like with Lemieux. I'm going to I'll probably go over him a little bit because I'm going to be going over Ellison Smith in just a few minutes here or whatever like that because he's gone. But, like with Lemieux, I don't even know if the guy can even stay healthy. This might be his last season with the Giants because this is his, a lot of question marks. Yeah, because this is his fourth season. First season he did pretty bad. Then he got injured, patellar tendon, right? And then there was the toe or whatever it was last year. So this is his fourth season, 5th round pick. This probably be his last season with the Giants. So, we don't really have any concrete, it's not like, well, Evan Neal is the right tackle. Andrew Thomas is the left tackle. Michael Schmitz is the center. We don't have is the left guard. But the question mark is right now. We don't, you don't know what we're going to do. Like I said, like with Glowinski at the end of the season, are we going to keep him around for a third year? We could. Or we can let him go. We'd have a little bit of dead cap money, I think, if we let him go, but we can get out after 2 seasons. So be interesting to see. Once again, we can certainly draft somebody next year too, or maybe I get a little crazy, but maybe if Zach Martin's a little pissed off at the Cowboys, maybe he might want to come over to a winning football organization. Because I heard he didn't show. He'd have to make about like $50 this year with the Giants. Then the Giants can actually give him some money next year and the years after that and all. But I heard he's not very happy with his salary, so I don't think he showed up at the Cowboys camp. I think it was. Could you imagine that, huh? Woo, huh? Man, but it is what it is. But he wants to get paid. I don't blame him. They just signed Javon Diggs, I think, was it 5 years, $97 million, I think it was. So he's making almost, right? It is what, he led the league in interceptions the 1 year. He had 11. That's a lot nowadays. But, so he's making almost $20 million a year. So good for him. Good for him. But I know Jerry's, Jerry's, yeah. Yeah, it's like you just look at Jerry. He's just looking old. Well, you see, but you also got to start realizing, too, early 61, 62, somewhere around there, he was on Arkansas. Jerry Jones was on Arkansas's, I think, their football team. I think it was 1961 or 62 football. He played for Frank Broyles. Let me see. I think because Jerry Jones. Let's look at his Wikipedia here. I'm just as far as just looking old. Let's see. Is it going to say his college football career? Yeah, okay, he joined. 1960. He was on their 64 national championship team. Okay, how old is he? He's 80. Okay, I thought he was even a little bit older than that. So he's 80. You know what I mean? So, I mean, and the guy's got a ton of energy for 80 years old, but once again, he's 80. So, I mean, I don't know how much longer he's going to wind up living, but I thought I was going to say he was even older than that, but I thought he was like maybe in his 80s, but he's he'll turn 81 in October. So what do we got, John? August 7th. So in 3 months he'll be 81. But anyway, but I know in the early 60s he was with Arkansas. So I mean that's like 60 years ago. So he had to be like 20 years old when he was there. So I mean he had to be at least 80. So national champs, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean 1964 Arkansas. Who knew, right? But yeah, well, I guess he's going to turn the keys of the castle over, I guess, to his son when Jimmy's still. I tell you what, boy, Jimmy with his hairspray. It's just so weird how some people, Jimmy's hair's got to look perfect. But you ever notice when he's talking, like when he's on the pregame shows and all that stuff, we got Howie Long there, Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, Jimmy's there, Michael Strahan's there. Do you ever notice when he's talking, he'll talk and then he'll go. He always licks his lips. You ever notice that? I mean, he must go through like 3 tons of chapstick every day, but he's always licking his lips. He'll talk, yeah, blah, 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 and then he'll go, and he winds up licking his lips. And then it was hairspray. He's got a great coach. We got to admit. Oh yeah. He pissed me off. I'll tell you what. I mean, when the Cowboys just killed the Giants. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I hated them for 2 reasons. One, for 2 reasons. The 80s and the 90s. Because in the 80s, I mean, what did they beat Notre Dame the one time? It was like 56-3 or something like that. Just freaking annihilated Notre Dame. And Notre Dame loses, but they don't get embarrassed that bad, So I mean, so he beat the crap out of Notre Dame. I mean, finally in '88, we turned it. We didn't like turn the tide. We beat him by He went for 2 points. God bless him. Kudos to you, brother. Right? The pass was incomplete. Notre Dame won. It was like they won the Super Bowl or something. They beat him by 1 point. That was Notre Dame. I mean, that was like, we beat the greatest team. But when Miami beats us, that was 56-3 or something. They just killed us one of those games. So we had a hard time beating him. Notre Dame did. And then he comes to the pros. And of course, the Giants have a hard time beating the Cowboys, But I always remember his final game was, Jerry Faust. Yeah. Oh my God. Good high school coach. He won his first game. Who did they beat? Was it LSU? I think it was. His first game, and they beat somebody's high profile team, a good team, and all. But then after that, it was down. He was a good high school coach, real good. I mean, I think his thing was like 342,000 and 0 in his high school career or something. It was really good. Not so much of a college coach, but then again, if it wasn't for him being bad, we probably may not have gotten Lou Holtz. I mean, if he was good, if he was so, he might have lingered into the late 80s and maybe, so maybe we never would have gotten Lou Holtz. But yeah, I mean, Jimmy's a real good. I mean, ain't no doubt about that. But unfortunately, I'll never forget his last game when he lost that was like 62-10. I think it was. The Jaguars beat him in the playoffs, whatever year it was, 97 or something. I think it was Coughlin, maybe. I think it was the playoffs. I mean, you give up 60, I think it was 62 points. Catholics, that was it. Do you still have the shirt? Still got the shirt? Yeah, because you see the shirt. I mean, have you ever watched the YouTube videos, the Catholics versus the convicts and all that? They got the T-shirts, and all that, yeah. Oh, you lost it? Well, I mean, it'd be kind of tough. You could probably buy one on eBay or something like that. But I mean, you don't know if it's a remake or not or anything, I guess. But yeah, I mean, that was that was big. That was big. But then we got, let's see here. Oh, then of course, now this stuff, I think this happened. Actually, I think it was yesterday. They brought in what is it? Deshaun Bauer. They also, of course, speaking of Ellerson Smith, they let Ellerson Smith go injured. Now, I guess he was still injured. I mean, I brought him up. Where is he at here? I mean, I think Ellerson Smith, I guess maybe 2020 with Northern Iowa. Was that what it was? Northern Iowa. Yeah. I think 2020 might have been the pandemic year, meaning he didn't play maybe because of the pandemic, because, he played in 2021 with the Giants, 2022, and we were kind of hoping 2023, but that will be no mas. So I guess maybe the pandemic year. So, but his final season that he played in college with Northern Iowa, he wound up playing in 774 snaps. And it's just he played in weeks 1. Then he must have missed week 2 and 3. I guess maybe he was injured. But he played in week 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then I guess they had a bowl game against James Madison. But I mean, that one season, he missed a couple games. He still played 774 snaps. I mean, then you kind of go, and let's see here. Where are we at here? 2022. So he had 774 snaps in one season. And then with the Giants, he played 14 snaps last year on defense. I didn't say special. I didn't mean special teams. Just on defense. But in the year before that, his rookie season, he played 120. So 107. So he played 121 snaps in 2 seasons, and he's still injured, apparently, because they waived him. Injured. I mean, it just. How do these guys make it through high school and college, and they get to the pros, and they can't even make it out of training camp without getting? It just boggles my mind. Absolutely boggles my mind. So the Giants, they let Ellerson Smith go, which is it's just such a shame, because the dude has got the size, the length, and all of that, as like an edge rusher. It's just a shame, absolute shame. And it's like the same thing with Shane Lemieux. I don't even know if the guy's once again. Let's see if the guy can just make it out of training camp without getting a season-ending injury. But they drafted Tashawn. Well, not drafted. They signed outside linebacker Tashawn Bauer, I guess, to maybe try to replace Ellerson Smith. So they wind up waived the injured outside linebacker Ellerson Smith, and they waived defensive back Trenton Thompson. So that's one of the safeties the Giants will be down. But it said Bauer in 2017, 6'5", 250 pounds. Once again, nice height, nice length. LSU product, played in 26 games with only 3. He had 3 starts for the Vikings. And he played for the Patriots and the Raiders. His career numbers include 23 tackles, 4 full loss, and he has 2 sacks. So, I mean, yeah. We add these guys, and I mean, let's see here. Where's he at here? Tashawn Bauer. I mean, it's not something you want to get overly excited about. I mean, last year, what did he play in? Played in week 2, 3, 10, 11, and 13. He played defensively 37 snaps. He graded out of 40, according to Pro Football Focus. That's all I'm going by, because I'm not going to sit here and BS you and say, well, I saw Tashawn Bauer and I broke down all of his tape and every play I watched. I spent 3.5 hours watching every play. I diagnosed it and I broke it in, and I'm not going to. I go to PFF. They give me some kind of a basic, understanding of maybe how his game was. If they grade him out at like a 32 as far as run defense, well, chances are he wasn't very good at run defense. If they graded him out at a 90, well, chances are he was decent at run defense. You know what I mean? So it gives me a basic overall. But let's see, 2021, he graded out of 51. He didn't do, in 2020 with New England, he graded out of 69.5. 2018 with Minnesota, although he only played in 53 defensive snaps, he graded out of 66.7. And 2017, his first year, he only played in 10 defensive snaps. He graded out of 61.4. So, I mean, it has graded out a little bit. Not too bad. Last year wasn't too much, but the one, and that doesn't mean, he can't play or he'll never be able to play or nothing like that. It's just that if he's played 5 seasons, and he's on his like 4th team or so, Canada lost. Yeah, PFF is good. Yeah, I mean, well, see, because I mean, they give me some basic understanding. I mean, I don't have enough time in a day. I'm not going to say, well, I saw this guy and he played 812 snaps last year, and I sat there for 19 and a half weeks straight, and I just broke every play down, every step he took, every time he did this, I charted it down, and the tackles he came in, and how many tackles he made, what did he miss, what his percentage of this was, what do you, I'm not gonna. That's why I got PFF. They just, they'll tell me his coverage grade. Well, if his coverage grade was a 75 or 80, well, okay, I'm not saying, that doesn't, that's not a ironclad, well, PFF says he's a 75, so he's definitely but it gives you a decent understanding. If they graded him at a 75 or 80, well, chances are he was pretty decent. If they graded his pass rush ability as a 15, chances are he wasn't too good. So that's all. It just gives me a basic understanding. That's why I get their subscriptions every year. Plus it all, PFF gives me, tells me how many snaps he had at a certain position, how many run defensive snaps he had, how many pass defensive snaps he had, how many times he rushed a passer, gives me a lot of things, especially with wide receivers and stuff, what special teams teams they were on, and stuff like that. So it gives you a lot of nice, interesting stuff, where 50s, but the date. Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. But so I said with Deshaun Bauer, once again, a 6'5", 250, nice size and height and length and all of that. But once again, let's see, he was with Minnesota, New England, and the Raiders, and now he's with the Giants. So this is 4 different teams. So once again, try not to get too overly excited about him. But welcome to the team, brother. Then, of course, well, let's say, what do we got here? I don't want to go over Nunez Roches just yet. Because we're talking the Giants. We got to be talking injuries, right, baby? So we got training camp, day 1. Saquon's highlight catch. Yeah, if you see the video of Saquon, man, I'll tell you what, man, He's got Xavier pretty much on his back, and then he's kind of like, I don't know, toward the middle of the end zone, whatever. And then Daniel Jones is rolling out to his side. Saquon fakes, I guess, to go into the middle, and he bursts out to the end. Daniel Jones, I mean, you can say what you want, this, that, and I get it. There's no pass rush. Nobody's trying to rip his head off. This, that, I get all that stuff. But if you look at this, if you look at the video, with Saquon's the first touchdown of training camp. And it's funny, they said like no videos were allowed, but you got videos of certain plays and stuff like that. So it's kind of funny, but somebody's taking a video of this. I mean, Saquon caught it, dragged his feet, got in there for a touchdown, but I mean, also on the run, Daniel Jones moving. I'm going to play the video here. Here we go. It's got no sound. So Saquon's going out, running, and then he bursts out to the end, and then on the run, Daniel Jones fires a laser. Saquon drags the feet, gets the hands up, grabs it, drags the feet, falls to the ground. I think he says something to Xavier, jokingly, I guess, but there's a ref there, holds his hands up, touchdown. I mean, just a nice pass, nice catch. Welcome back, Saquon. Says Jones looks sharp. Remember 2022? Now this. Remember this last year when head coach Brian Daboll was giving away offensive secrets to Wink Martindale. So basically, he was setting Daniel Jones up for failure. He was I don't know if he was telling him exactly what the plays were, or he wasn't telling Wink maybe what the plays were, but maybe he was telling Wink what kind of coverage to have or whatever it was. But he was trying to set Daniel Jones up for failure, and he wanted to see how he would respond to adversity. But also, likewise, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I think he didn't do that with Tyrod Taylor. I think he was letting Tyrod Taylor maybe run the plays or whatever it was without trying to screw him up. But I know specifically with Daniel Jones, Wink had something going on, where he was basically trying to screw Daniel Jones up, and he wanted to see how Daniel Jones, not so much how he would the plays would go, but how he would react if he got down, if he just started looking at the ground, kicking his feet and stuff like that, taking his helmet off, how did he respond? And he responded like a champion. So, what I'm doing, Wink Martindale, and setting situations that made Daniel Jones' life miserable in training camp, and at times made him look bad. Well, Wednesday's first day of camp was a different story. The Giants exclusively did 7-on-7 drill in the red zone and during team periods, with all the snaps coming from inside the 10-yard line. This has become a somewhat common day one practice since it limits the distance players are forced to run, which is true. Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Jones was sharp. So I'm not sure if this was Valentine. Ed Valentine was the one. Oh, let's see. Who wrote the article here? Yep, Ed Valentine. Very informative. Very informative. He kind of tells it like it is. If they look bad, he'll say they look bad. If he looks sharp, they look sharp. So the guy's a smart dude. Said Jones was sharp, but my unofficial count, this is by Ed Valentine, he said he went 16 out of 19 with one drop. Now, once again, no pass rush, no this, no that. He basically probably could have stood in the pocket for 3.5 years before he threw a ball, So, but, Jones' 20th snap was a read option keeper. Again, in my very unofficial count, I believe 11 of his throws went for touchdowns. So, not too bad. Jones' most impressive throw of the day might have been a laser to Paris Campbell, who was cutting across the back of the end zone with Tay Banks in coverage for a touchdown. It was a tight window throw and a lot of juice on it. So, Daniel Jones, he's working on his craft, right? I'm not saying he's going to be Patrick Mahomes, but he's slowly getting better, So, and that's all you can ask for. That's all you can ask for. Darren Waller's impact. The first pass of training camp went to Waller from Jones with safety Jason Pinnock in coverage. Then the second pass went to Saquon Barkley for the touchdown. Waller later had a juggling catch at the goal line for a score when he was double teamed by linebackers Bobby Okereke and Darian Beavers. He also beat Micah McFadden for a touchdown. Defensive groupings, as I previously mentioned, the team's periods were 7-on-7, meaning no defensive linemen. The first team defensive group was Xavier McKinney, Jason Pinnock, Adoree Jackson, Tay Banks, Darnay Holmes in the slot, Bobby Okereke, and Darian Beavers. Now, also heard from P-Dot, Paul Dottino. Beavers looked good, right? He looked very, very good. So, the second defensive group included Amani Oruwariye, Rodarius Williams, Carter Coughlin, Micah McFadden, Dane Belton, Bobby McCain, and Cordell Flott. So, and then let's see here. What do we got here? So, got some quick hits here. Oh, okay. Valentine said this too. I missed this, but Jaylen Hyatt apparently left practice early, but he says, but it's not anything serious. So let's hope, because we had one guy leave practice, which I'm going to go over in just a second here, who wound up getting into an accident with a concussion. So, I mean, can we go a practice without anybody getting injured? It would be just beautiful, wouldn't it? Graham Gano was 8 of 9 on field goal attempts. He missed wide from 39 yards. I'm not really worried about him. Rookie defensive backs Javarius Owens and Trey Hawkins ran into each other, had a much nastier than expected in a non-contact practice collision while defending a pass from Tommy DeVito to Bryce Ford-Wheaton. Fortunately, both were okay. But I'll go over something here with Bryce Ford-Wheaton, which is very promising. Just a second here. Speaking of, Paris Campbell caught a touchdown pass from Jones while lined up in the backfield. Very impressive. But speaking of Ford-Wheaton, the undrafted free agent wide receiver made 2 nice plays for DeVito. He caught a pass at the back of the end zone on a high throw, tiptoeing to keep his feet in bounds for a score. He also worked himself open in a scramble drill situation, eventually catching another touchdown pass from DeVito. Now, one of the things was the knocks on Paris Ford-Wheaton, or it was Bryce Ford-Wheaton, is what I believe was in college was he had sometimes he had the dropsies, right? So to hear him, he had a nice catch in the back of the end zone, catching the ball, tippy-toeing his, in bounds. He also had a nice catch on a scramble drill. That's nice to hear. Certainly doesn't mean he's going to catch every pass, but hopefully he works on his craft and his skills and all that, and some of the dropsies might start going away, hopefully. But that was one of the knocks I heard about him in college. So the Giants will continue to work without full pads for at least 4 more practices, what the league refers to as the acclimation period at the start of training camp. Hyatt was never targeted downfield while working with DeVito and the third group. His only touchdown came on a jet sweep touch pass. During special teams drills at the beginning of practice, Jaden Mickens, Adoree Jackson, Khalil Pimpleton, Darius Slayton, Eric Ray, Darnay Holmes were the punt returners. Hyatt, who worked as a punt returner in the spring, was not part of the group. And the Giants resumed practice on Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning. That session is also open to fans who have received tickets. So that's cool. And then I got this last one. Of course, you got, as I said, Rakeem Nunez-Roches, or Nacho, is in concussion protocol following a car accident after left practice. Giants defensive lineman Rakeem Nunez-Roches is in the concussion protocol after suffering injuries in traffic mishap after leaving practice on Tuesday. Nacho, as Nunez-Roches prefers to be called, reportedly did not incur any other injuries in the accident. Thank goodness. I mean, concussion's freaking bad enough, but thank goodness. The Giants have not commented on the incident nor his condition as of Wednesday afternoon. So he escaped serious injury despite being shaken up, as you'd expect. He didn't practice today, is in concussion protocol per source. So, that was so he didn't practice today. So that means after he left, I don't even know it was practice. I guess it was like weigh-ins and physicals and all that was on Tuesday. So he left there and he got into an accident. So, let's just hope once again, it's hopefully it's just nothing serious anyway, P-Dot or Joe Benigno without the drama. Love him. Yeah. Mine is footwork, underrated as a pay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. P-Dot, I don't remember, he's 1983 or 82 he's been with the Giants. So basically, he's been at training camps like the past 40 years or so. So, if you ever listen to him, like Big Blue Kickoff Live and all that and everything, he's really, you can bring up, you can throw up somebody's name. Hey, you remember Joe Blow from 1985? Oh, yeah. He played in 7 games that season. He played 13 at left tackle, 14 at right tackle. I remember he punted one game. He caught a pass for 13 yards from Phil Simms. I remember he ran a jet sweep. It was going on. So he's a wealth of knowledge. He past 40 years, he's been at training camps and all. So he's got to be like 70 or so. Yeah, but he's got a wealth of knowledge. I listened to his show. Yeah, what was it? I listened to yesterday. Today, I listened to the show they had on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I couldn't. Yesterday, I couldn't find the show they had yesterday. So I listened to them both today. So they were talking about obviously Saquon and Andrew Thomas. And then, of course, some callers call in and ask some questions and stuff like that and all and everything. But Howard Cross is there. He's in there for one or two shows during the week. So, he talks a lot. Obviously because he had a long career he was with the Giants from 89 to 2002, I think it was. 14 years. 13, 14 years. I think he was the only guy, with the Giants who was in their 1990 Super Bowl team and their 2000 Super Bowl team. So he had the best and the worst of both. The 1990 Super Bowl win was one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time. And then, of course, the 2000 massacre was one of the worst Super Bowls of all time. But, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Patty Traynor, too. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there's so many people on YouTube that a lot of them are, their knowledge, as far as breaking down plays, and a lot of their knowledge is knowing all the guys and all the other teams. And all. So there's so many people out there that are so intelligent, knowledgeable, and all that. I only have so much time in the day, so I between, I put out 2 videos every day. So that's, I mean, between coming up with the information and like 3:30 this morning, so in about, what do we got? In about 4 hours, I'm going to be putting up another video, right? I'm putting this video up. I got to come up with some information to talk about. So, and then I got stuff on my Facebook group, Facebook page. I spend 5-6 hours every day between YouTube and Facebook and all that. So then I listen to those guys. There's only so much time in a day. So what I try to do is I try to, I got my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right. But other people, they're like YouTubers like me. They have their own opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean I'm wrong. It's just, I try to listen to people who are there, who, like Patty Traina. She's there. She's asking questions, and when I think Shane and Dable, I think she got a chance to ask a question today, but she's there. She's observing. She's talking to the players. Paul Dottino's, he talking to the players and stuff like that. So they're there. They're saying, yeah, so-and-so this happened today. You know what I mean? So, they're giving me, stuff that actually happened. That's why I like Ed Valentine. He's there. He's writing an article. So that's why I'm reading Ed Valentine's article about what happened today. So it's a lot of it's just facts. Ed Valentine, he said on my unofficial account was 16. Daniel Jones was 16 out of 19. So that gives you a basic parameter. That doesn't mean he was maybe 20 out of 20, but then again, Ed Valentine said he was 16 out of 19. That doesn't mean he was 3 out of 20 either. You know what I mean? So he was very close to 16 out of 19. So it means he had a pretty good day. So Ed Valentine, he was there, who's been following the Giants for years. Ed Valentine's view, he says this happened. Well, that's probably pretty close. What happened? So that's why I like to listen to those, read their articles, listen to those people and all of that. As I said, there's only so much time in the day, I got to try to sleep, and all of that. So I try to pick and choose the stuff that I listen to and all and everything. But as I said, like with Big Blue Kickoff Live, they're great. Patricia Traina, she's been following a Giant, I think, for like 30 years, I think she said. So she's talked to a lot of guys. She's very, very smart knowledge. That kid. Oh yeah, Filato. Yeah, he's really smart. Him, Schneier, Dan Schneier, Filato and Schneier. They do a podcast together. They're on there too. But it's the same thing. Yeah. But I tell you what, those guys, they go on for like an hour. I love it. It's freaking fantastic. But I said once again, oh yeah, I mean, they're smart. They can break down a play. They know, everything. They're unbelievable. But I said once again, sometimes I'll like if Patty Traina maybe doesn't do one, maybe I'll listen to those guys. But once again, their podcast is like an hour long, which is once again is fantastic. It's just sometimes there's only so much time in the day. I if I could, I'd try to do this maybe 24 hours a day. But I said I got to walk my dog. I got to eat. I got to shower. I got to mow the lawn. I got to sleep. I got to work. So there's only so much time in the day. But I said they're really good. Oh yeah. Well, see, that's the one. That's the one that I once again I try to be myself. But see, what I do is not very sexy. But that's what my, kind of my whatever you want to call it. Expertise would be. I could talk a lot about like a lot of the older, like I can rattle off every coach the Giants have ever had. I can tell you every year the Giants were in the playoffs. I can tell you what the scores of the playoff games were. I can tell you a lot of their first round picks going back to 1936. I can tell you, a lot of things. So my expertise is that. That's what excites me. Once again, that's not sexy. A lot of people don't want to know that kind of stuff. Not many, you're not going to have 19, you're going to have 19 or 20-year-old kids who are Giant fans sit down and want to listen to me. Oh, let's listen about the 62 championship game. This guy's talking about this. Yeah, they don't want to hear that. It's not sexy. the guys coming out of the draft, what their 40 times are, what their benches are, what their verticals, what their horizontal, what their three cone. That's what's sexy. Well, that's that's not my expertise, and I'm not going to try to pretend that is my expertise. But that's what's sexy. That's what a lot of people are very, very interested in that. But as I said, that doesn't excite me. What excites me is a lot of the history, the rich history of the Giants. So that's what my expertise is. So that's what I have. I have an advantage over those guys. But as I said, it doesn't make me right, doesn't make them wrong. They spend their time, breaking down plays and maybe the guys in the draft and all that. Well, that doesn't excite me. I'll go back and I'll watch a football game from the 1980s or the 1970s, or I'll watch, or I'll go online and I'll look at the Giants teams from the 1950s or something like that. That excites me, so I'll know about that. Well, they'll know other things, so as I said, that's my expertise, is the knowledge of the old stuff, yeah. I say, because, even as bad as the Giants were back in the 70s, and they were pretty bad. I absolutely loved it. I absolutely love watching, the Giants lose every freaking football game back. But that's what excited me. And I was always, the teams from the 60s, because I was a little too young to know to watch them and all that. That always fascinated me. And then you go back into the 50s and even when the NFL first started back in the 20s. The Giants, it's like the first 10 years the Giants were in existence, from 25 to 34. Like every year there was a different amount of teams. Every year. One year it was 20, then it went up to 20. I think the first year the Giants were in, it was 25. I think it was 20 teams. The next year it went to 22. Then the next year it went down to 12. Then it went down to 10. Then it went up to 11. It went back down to 10. It went up to 12. It was just like one of the years it was like 33, I think it was, or 30. There was 8 teams, and then the next year went up to 10. Back in 1925, I think the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets played 17 games. The Giants only played 12. The Akron Indians played like 5 games. It was just fascinating. Teams come and go, they'd fold, and it was just to me, it's just very, very fascinating. So that's what excites me. So that's what I try to learn up on, But yeah, the ice ball. Yeah, oh man, I can watch that all day long. The 67 championship game. Oh. It was with it was with the Packers and the Cowboys, but you just want to smack your face because the Cowboys got Tom Landry, who came from where? The Giants, and the other one was Vince Lombardi, who came from where? The Giants, right? And you can imagine if the Giants had one of those coaches, the Giants might have been in a championship game, but anyway. But as I said, that fast me, that the Vince Lombardi, the 60s, that fast, I absolutely love that stuff. I can watch that all day long. I know 100 degrees outside, 40. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. But as I said, the stuff from back then just fascinates me. And always will. So that'll be my expertise. It's not sexy. I know that, and most people don't want to listen to that, but that's what it is. Well, it's been 58. I'll see you. I'll be back tomorrow. I guess day 2 of training camp. Hopefully nobody gets into an accident. Hopefully nobody gets hurt. So whoever spent any time other than Jersey man or Jersey guy, I'm sorry. Anybody other than Jersey guy spent any time watching me, thank you. Or if anybody spends any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. I can use all the help I can get, guys. So thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.